Good evening. There's been a lot for this media room to get their teeth into over the last 8 days, but I suspect they're going to be chewing over today's top story for quite some time to come, because the runaway favourite, Ronnie O'Sullivan, the man who was tipped for a 6th world title and indeed a 6th trophy of the season, is out. And Ali Carter is savouring the taste of victory that has been 17 years in the making after a rather spicy closing session.
This is absolutely jumping, Dennis, this afternoon. Well, that was a magnificent shot. It really was.
What a shot.
And he's Ronnie O'Sullivan 10-8. Oh, phenomenal cueing. Absolutely phenomenal cueing.
Near the pot.
Hey? Should be Mr. Angry. Yeah? I'll give you one back.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you very much. Very nice of you.
Stop being angry.
All right, fellas, just play on, yeah?
Yeah, I'm cool. Cool as cucumber.
Snooker, Ronnie O'Sullivan is produced here, right under the cosh. Still 2 frames the difference, but Ali Carter leads 11-9. Wow, that just shows you cannot lose your concentration. What a steal from Ali Carter. He only needs one more. Oh, what a shot. And Ronnie comes forward to shake his hand. It's taken an awful long time. He pats him on the tummy to say well done. And look at that, Ali Carter, after all this time, manages to beat the Rocket Ronnie O'Sullivan. And that's what it means to him. And in the end, he wins 13-9. I think he's a happy bunny.
Well, I know you lot want to get your teeth into something. Look, Ronnie's done me in the final twice and had the better of me. And I've been intimidated by him in the past, pre-2012. But, you know, I've been through a lot in my life. I've been through a hell of a lot. And I was determined that wasn't going to happen this time. And I haven't paid for a ticket to watch Ronnie O'Sullivan play. I'm here to win the tournament.
Oh, disappointed to lose. You always are, you know. Sheffield Crucible, such a great venue, great tournament, but you know, it just wasn't good enough over the match, and you know, Ali deserved his victory. You know, we had a shoulder barge earlier on in the match, and I just decided that I wasn't gonna bend out the way again. So we just kind of collided.
It's all tight in there, as we know. He's walking. I'm walking to the table. He's walking back, and I was looking at the table. And we've just rubbed shoulders a bit harder than, you know, what you normally would, and the heat at the moment. But hey, it's all fair's in love and war. If someone's going to shoulder barge into me, what have I got to keep walking around him, tiptoeing, and sort of, you know, do a little courtesy as if he's the Queen or the King. You know, sometimes you just have to stand your ground. Nothing. He just went, that was some shoulder barge, wasn't it? And I just went, yeah, thank you, sort of thing. And he went, you're Mr. Angry. So I said, thank you. And that was it. You know, I don't want to dwell on it. It's not that important. I think you should just be focused on Ali. Played a great match and he's in the tournament. Just think of Syria. Just think of all these angry. Just think of all these terrible things going on in the world at the moment. Just sitting here talking about a shoulder barge. I mean, let's really get into reality, you know. Everyone in the crowd. I've got a guy sitting next to me. Every time Ronnie pots a ball, oh, Ronnie, clapping Ronnie and everything, you know. And it just intensifies everything, and you know. But it was my day today. He's had plenty of days, and hopefully it will be my day again.
Oh yes, there'll be a lot of talk about the argy-bargy involved in that one, but let's get back to the match. How well did Ali Carter close out that match today?
Superbly well, considering the fact he's lost to Ronnie O'Sullivan every time he's played here. That was a tough match to win, because you've got not just to beat Ronnie O'Sullivan, you've got to beat the occasion, not the individual people shouting out. So it's not so much that Ronnie O'Sullivan is intimidating to play against, because you practice with him and everything. It's the whole occasion. The emphasis is raised. So that's a great litmus test for Ali Carter as to how he's playing, and I think he can use it as a springboard to better things in the tournament.
You can certainly understand the absolute huge outpouring of emotion that we saw from him at the end there.
Yeah, certainly, the fist pump. Yeah, I mean, look, it's not boxing. You don't have to generate hate against your opponent, but you still want to, like, not necessarily be friends with your opponent. I never like to be friends with my opponent. You want to have a little bit of, a bit of attitude with him. You're not going to be like, there's the balls. So therefore, yeah, it's nice to have a bit of that. I think it looks good. Well,
it certainly has given these gentlemen and everyone here in the press and media room a lot to talk about. Jamie Broughton, Hector Nuns, let's get your thoughts on this. There was a little bit of needle there, and OK, Ronnie said, let's get this in perspective here, but what was the root of it, and how was it received in here, Jamie?
Well, it was great entertainment. I mean, it was mind games when you watched it. I mean, he was under pressure, Ronnie O'Sullivan, in that session. Obviously, he fought back well in the first session. He won the opening frame today. He maybe thought if he put Ali Carter under pressure, he may crack. He's obviously not beaten him in a ranking event, Ali Carter. But, as Steve said, Ali played really, really well. And maybe he thought that little barge, and the little comment might just wind him up a little bit. And, you see often players are very polite to each other, certainly in press conferences when they speak to us. And Ali Carter, it was interesting the other day when he was talking about it's the Ronnie O'Sullivan show. We all know that. You don't hear many players say that, because normally when they say it, Ronnie turns up and, takes them apart. But today, Carter stood up to him. And, he handled the pressure and he played really well to close it out. And it was good to see a little bit of argy-bargy, wasn't it?
It sure was. Hector, this is good copy for you, surely.
It is, yeah. I mean, on the face of it, it's the title favourite going out and it's a shock defeat, but that isn't really what people were talking about today, and I don't think it's necessarily what they'll be reading about tomorrow. It was very entertaining in that 19th frame. Ali Carter did make the comments yesterday about it being the Ronnie O'Sullivan show. A couple of other players, when they've done that in the past, have ended up, it's backfired a bit, and Ronnie has run away with the matches. But Ali saw it out today. As he said in his press conference, he wasn't going to be intimidated and bullied, and he really stood up to Ronnie today.
Well, when you look at Ronnie, he is closing in on Stephen Hendry's record of 36 world ranking titles here. But what about the long term for his chances in the World Championship now? How do you view that in general terms, Jamie?
Well, he's still a contender, and we've seen what he's done this season, but he was talking about afterwards, maybe he's been found out a little bit in the longer format, and he's won what he calls the sort of Usain Bolt event, which is a little bit shorter. I don't quite buy that. He's not in terminal decline yet, but obviously we've seen Mark Selby's great record here in recent years. He's not infallible. I mean, he's certainly, when he's out there, he's a contender. He keeps talking about the life balance he's got. And maybe that is the secret to him winning it again, because if he's not going away too down, obviously he is devastated to have lost, but if he's got a balance in his life, he's going to come back and still be fresh. So I wouldn't write him off, but of course the longer it goes on, the harder it becomes for him to actually win that 6th world title. And I said to him after his match, do you feel like it's one that's got away? And he said, oh, well, I'm disappointed, but I'll go away, I've got other things. That hurts. He would love to equal Steve's record, of course.
Of course, yes, in the chase for Stephen Hendry's 7. But Hector, the number 1 and number 2 seeds have gone from the top and the bottom of the draw here. Everybody else looking at that draw now, who's left here, for you, who assumes the mantle of favourite?
I think possibly, maybe a Ding Junhui, possibly. We might be looking at a first-time winner in the shape of Ding. Judd Trump is somebody else who hasn't won it before, and of the old guard, you've got to be looking at sort of John Higgins and Mark Williams as we stand. But a couple of players said to us, if Ronnie goes out, everyone's ears are going to prick up, and I think everybody left in the draw now will really fancy it. OK, gentlemen, thank you very much. There's plenty for you to get your teeth into. I know you've got an awful lot of copy to write and indeed to broadcast, Jamie. Thank you very much, Hector and Jamie. All right. Well, still going strong, of course, is Barry Hawkins, the man with a commanding Crucible record of late. Now, he closed out a win this morning over 20-year-old Chinese debutant Yu Hao-Tian, who'd refused to fade away, coming back from 1-5 and 3-8 down to level things at 10-all. But the Hawk found an extra gear exactly when he needed it to accelerate away to a 13-10 success and book a 6th consecutive appearance in a Crucible quarter-final.
76, frame in the match.
It's quite emotional, tense, and then play tricks with your mind, and it's just hard work sometimes. But yeah, no, I'm really pleased to come through that sort of game, and it's what better feeling it is to win a game like that, really.
So we are now in the post-Rocket reality this year in Sheffield, and here's who else this evening is eyeing a place in the last 8. because our lineup looks like this. Kettering Cuman Kyron Wilson went all the way to the Masters final this year. He's on a run again here, needing just 2 more frames this evening against Welsh Terrier Jamie Jones. Whilst just getting underway, 2-times champ Mark Williams continues his quest for a 3rd world title 15 years after his last. He'll have good memories of the last time he played Rob Milkins here in Sheffield, made a maximum in a comprehensive win in 2005. So we are already underway out there. We're joining table 1, Wilson and Jones on parade. No private pike in sight, but we do have Peter Ebden and John Virgo in the commentary box.
Thank you, Hazel, and good evening, everybody. Jamie Jones broke off in this frame and left a red that Kyron Wilson knocked in. Could have done with a little bit more backspin. This is the opening red. And good solid pot. And he didn't get perfect position. He ran past the baulk line, but he played a nice roll brown into the middle. And this is the chance that he's made for himself. But as I say, a little bit more screw when he potted that red would have left him better on the black than he is. Good pot, but has he managed to hold? I don't think so. You did the second session of this match, Peter. Was it all one-sided, the way the scoreline looks?
Well, to be perfectly honest, John, both players had chances, and it was a bit of a subdued atmosphere because neither player was really taking the chances. They were running out of position, and they sort of dragged each other down, as can happen sometimes.
Kyron Wilson, 19.
Yeah, but Kyron Wilson would have been pleased with the result coming into this evening. Just needing 2 frames. As a player in these situations, you just got to completely ignore the scoreline. I know it's simple, but just play one shot, 1 frame at a time. And of course, if Jamie could win the first 4 frames, then match on. Big ask, he can't afford any mistakes. Can't that much too thick. But not left anything. Red going near the corner, needs the cover. Needs the cover. And he's put his hand up to apologise just out of shot, so he's got the cover, as you can see. A little bit short of pace, but looks like those reds will cover the one over the corner. So that red not available. If anything, you had to keep the cue ball on the left-hand side of the table as we look. But it's okay. I think the red's covered. No gap there. Kyron just have a look, see if he can come off the side cushion. The red one up from the one over the corner pocket. I don't know whether he can, well, maybe he can just avoid that. That's what he's playing. Trying to pot the red cushion first. And it's scribbled in. If he'd have potted it clean, he'd have probably swung round and been on the blue. Now, does he fancy the black? No hesitation, he's going to play it. As I say, if that red goes in the middle of the pocket, the cue ball would have probably swung round and been nicely on the blue. This is a tricky black, particularly as he's got to play it with a little bit of pace to get out for the next red. Played it very well.
Eight. Nine.
Yeah, judged the cannon nicely. Yeah, using the rest, it could have gone wrong, but... And I think if he just lands middle of the table... Yep, somewhere near the circle, which I put up. And
16.
Nearly a bullseye, but not quite. But nicely on the red. Thing is, when you're in these situations, well clear, only needing 2, it's quite easy sometimes just to switch off your concentration. The concentration levels can just drop slightly.
Yeah, we see that a lot, John, don't we? And to be perfectly honest, in the session this morning, Curran did have plenty of opportunities in amongst the balls, and he just ran out of position and Snooker himself, and it was a bit of a strange session this morning. Both players had plenty of chances, quite a few mistakes.
And that wasn't the best positional shot that Kyron's ever played. Awkward bridging, as you can see. Oh, but a good solid pot that was. That was an excellent shot. And now surely that sets him up to win the frame at this visit.
22. $23.
There's a few ways he could play that, but just nudging that red when he potted the pink just
29.
opens another red. It couldn't be better situated.
30.
And he pots this pink, he'll go 55 points in front. So he's looking for 3 more reds. Yeah, and I say, Jamie Jones couldn't afford any more
36.
mistakes. And when he played his last safety shot, of course, he couldn't afford to put the cue ball on the right half of the table.
37.
As we look, which is why he left the possibility of potting the red off the cushion. And that's the position he's in at the moment. He has to play flawless snooker. So 62 ahead, 75 remaining.
43.
Red and a pink would do.
44.
This pink to go 69 ahead with just 67 remaining.
Okay, John, it's not over yet, not by a long way, but you've got to feel for Jamie Jones. I think one of the most difficult things about the World Championship is you have a fantastic win against one of the best players
51.
in the world, and then you've got another top player, and then another top player, and then another top player. This is such a difficult tournament to win, and his expectation levels would have risen, obviously, after such a fantastic win against Sean Murphy. He's just been outplayed in this match. He has had his chances.
57.
But his back is really up against the wall now. He's got it all to do.
58. $64. 65. $71.
They've done with that cue ball, just bouncing off the cushion a fraction, but didn't have to do much with it. Just pot the red, bounce beyond the black.
72.
But not good on the black. That's why he's had a look at the angle on the pink, but obviously that's a bit too straight as well. Well, dear me, I thought you said these middle pockets were nipping.
They were, John. Well, that one's a lot bigger now.
Yeah.
78.
That's wide in that pocket. So, chance of a century still on.
$79.
Oh, dear me. It made me jump. And the camera woman as well. Dear me. Anyway, frame over. Jamie Jones not going to carry on. Dear me, that was funny. Glad we're not in 3D. Anyway, he's one frame away from a place in a quarter-final. And by the look of it, he's damaged his tip.
15 minutes, yeah.
Well, he's one away now, but that's slightly worrying hiccup there for Kyron Wilson, who looked for all the world like he was going to go on and make a ton there. It looks like he might have done a little bit of damage, Steve.
Yeah, sometimes you put you hit it very low on the ball and it's sort of like break a bit off the edge of the tip because you use the outside of the tip when you're playing screw shots, so that's not great. It's difficult to have too many tips sort of in the bank, sort of pre-played in, these, especially as the tournament season is pretty full, but he looks impressive.
He does look impressive. However, this is kind of déjà vu for Kyron. This happened last year, as I recall, in the quarter-final. And, you know, you do wonder whether he has brought an extra one. He said he was going to learn a lesson from that 12 months ago.
Well, yes, yeah, I suppose so. But there is a possibility you could get a friend to break tips in, you know, with a bigger sort of diameter of tip, and then you play, so you've got a few in the bank. But most players don't get around to that in the end, you know. But, yeah, you can repair. You can take a bit more off the tip until it gets lower than when the bit is chipped. It just depends how bad it is.
OK, well...
If it's in the mind as well. Yeah.
Well, I've just been told they're going to have to take a 15-minute break to conduct some running repairs to the tip of the cue. So let me have a quick look at the draw so far, Steve, because there's been a lot of events this afternoon. This is the top half of the draw. And we've got a potential rematch of the Masters final here. Mark Allen already through in the top part here, and Kyron on the brink against Jamie Jones, and that would be quite something, wouldn't it?
Yeah, certainly would be. And both those players obviously showing that they're improving in standard by getting to the final of the Masters. But I mean, the whole draw's opened up, as it always sometimes does. That the likes of John Higgins and Judd Trump will be fancying their chances, but that top half's pretty strong now.
It sure is. We've got John Higgins, who's 8-0 up after a whitewash session with Jack Lazowski. It looks though that might be finishing early unless Jack can really summon some resistance tomorrow in their second session. We've got Ricky Walden preparing to face Judd Trump, who's actually in here in the practice room preparing for that match tomorrow. Now, at the bottom, as you know, there's no Ronnie O'Sullivan in that bottom half, having been beaten by Ali Carter 13 frames to 9 in what was the standout match of the day. And just underway, we've got Mark Williams against Rob Milkins, and they will be playing Ali, the winner of that one. And at the top there, we've got Ding Junhui getting ready for his match against Anthony. And once again, Anthony, in here, practicing ahead of that one and awaiting them. It's Barry Hawkins. Meanwhile, we do have Mark Williams and Rob Milkins out there live on the other table. They had a re-rack, so they're early in their first frame, and I'm sure memories have been tried to be banished from the head of Rob Milkins, because after all, the only other time that he played Mark Williams here, from memory, was, what, 2005, when he lost 10-1 then to Mark Williams. But he's a different player now after a fantastic win over Neil Robertson in the opening round. So, Ken Doherty, Stephen Hendry, all yours.
Yes, thank you, Hazel. Well, you just joined us. Aurora Milkins had Mark Williams in a very tough snooker. It took him 4 attempts to get out of it, but he left him in. And
15.
Robert Milkins is now in, has a good chance with the way the Reds are spread. We've had
16.
Quite an amusing time. We've had Mark Williams trying to get out of snooker, shoulder charge the referee, having a bit of a laugh with him. But, and here's the, trying to swerve around this brown and get out of snooker.
23.
Eventually, after 4 attempts, hits the red, but leaves Robert Milkins in, and he has a wonderful opportunity to win the frame from this visit.
$24.
A little bit clumsy. The positional shot there. He's going to have to play some sort of cannon to kill the pace of the cue ball. Oh, Robert. Well,
Robert
I spoke
Milkins,
about unforced
24.
errors. And that previous positional shot was 1. It should still be potting the blue.
One.
He's got a few possible reds to get on here. The one in the middle of the table left of the pink spot in the open. He's on that nicely. He'd love to get the blue back on its spot.
3.
But he has to get the cue ball over somewhere where his body is now. Not at this
4.
opportunity, maybe. Back up for the yellow. I'd really love to have the cue ball over that right hand side of the table so he could just drop the blue in and get on a loose red. Well, maybe he can just now. He has a nice angle. Well, it wasn't great, was it?
9.
But a good pot.
10.
And he's back in prime position now. Nicely played and nicely judged.
$17. $18.
Mark Williams can try and get into a lead quickly in this match. I think there's every chance he can run away with it and win it quite comfortably. Robert Milkins can sometimes become frustrated, but
25.
if you let him get ahead of you, as Neil Robertson did, he can be very dangerous.
26.
So important, even this little mini session of 4 frames, for Mark to stamp his authority early on this match.
$33.
possible saving grace for Robert Milkins in this frame is those two reds that are
34.
very close to the left-hand side cushion. Mark Williams will have to develop those reds to win this frame from this visit. Now, he's got a nice angle on the red.
41.
He rules that Miss Blue. He's got a nice angle on the red here.
42.
I was going to say he could have got a nice angle on the black, but he doesn't have that now, so he'll play for the red below the black. And now it's imperative that he gets a nice angle on the black. Sort of needs to be in a position
49.
where he's almost in line, the cue ball almost in line with the black.
50.
And that's not good. He needed to be up just another, maybe only an inch, I would say.
I think the red closest to the corner pocket, he can get on it in a way to be able to pot that. But I'd much rather be disturbing the reds. And he's just coming around to see where he needs to leave the cue ball and able to go for this red. Points in front, so red, black, red.
57.
Certainly to leave his opponent needing a snooker.
This red is quite difficult, but he's very good at this type of shot. Play it and just try and drop it in. He'll give it every chance to go into the pocket. Very good. Excellent. And he went full-blooded.
58.
There wasn't a hint of safety in mind there. He doesn't have a good angle on the black, but we saw from where he was queuing up, he's going to play this and play a good telling safety shot here.
A little
65.
bit surprised that he didn't. I thought he could have followed through off two cushions with topspin to leave himself on this red. He's left-handed. It's the right side of the table. He only needs the red. A bit careless to leave yourself hampered by the black as well.
Mark Williams, 65.
Well, he's missed the red, but he's had a right result there. I'm not quite sure what he can. I don't think that he can stun into the red, and the red won't pass the brown. That's what he's having a quick look at. Not quite sure whether he's on that full ball, but definitely the red. It'll only pass the brown along that ball cushion, but I don't think he has enough of the red to actually play that shot. So it would be a definitely passes the brown, of course, but if he was to stun it, try and stun it up the table, it's going to hit the brown, so he can't play that shot. Having a look at the score, he's 28 in front. Maybe he might just hit this and try and get that red away from this end of the table, but I'm not quite sure whether he has enough of the red to actually go for the red down the ball cushion or not. Well, he had to swerve it and try and cut it in. Now this red does pot. Only the cue ball will be careering into the brown.
He's not at the races at the moment, Robert Milkins. A little bit of frustration there as well, swinging his cue. Long way away from that pot. That was frame ball, and it was hit very hard. He's been lucky. Very lucky. Well, neither player really settled. Mark had a nice break, but just the way he sort of went at that frame-winning red.
Sort of a nervy one, wasn't it, hitting it that hard? He played it with a touch of safety in mind, like he wasn't very confident of getting it. Again, a long way away from the pot, but played it in such a way that he knew he possibly would be snookering or Milkins. Oh, if he had hit that a bit harder, that would have been perfect. Cue ball would have gone behind the brown. We may have left this. This is a very lackluster shot from Mark Williams.
Yeah, it was very uncharacteristic, that shot. Robert Milkins should never have had a look at this pot to left corner. And you can't keep giving this guy chances. He will pot them eventually. Wrong angle in the pink, though, to get close to the yellow.
It's a good positional shot. Needs that cue ball to come off that side cushion. Now, does the green pot past the brown? Hard to tell from our commentary position. It certainly does now. Great shot.
9.
There's no angle to get anywhere near the green, the brown after potting this green, so he'll just make sure of the green and
12.
try and play a telling safety shot, but this is where he has to be very, very careful.
Robert Milkins, 12.
Well, that kiss was handy. The brown I'd have missed the pink. It may have left a possible pot for Mark Williams, but safe enough now. Wow, you saw Robert Milkins go down the line of the brown. Any little glance off the blue there, the brown was onto the green pocket. That's a very clever shot. Excellent shot from Mark Williams there. Overcut the brown on purpose. Got it onto that ball cushion. This is not guaranteed to get safe here. He's played this well. Good shot. Clever shot from Mark Williams. You would feel 7 or 8 times out of 10 that Mark Williams would win this safety battle on the colours. But at the moment, Robert Milkins is certainly holding his own. And you would feel that anybody who gets it and look at this brown and pots it will win the frame from it. First mistake. Excellent pot. Excellent. Blue, it was cued in beautifully, certainly, and even the pink goes in, and what a brown, blue and pink that was from the former world champion Mark Williams. Eventually takes the opening frame. He leads Robert Milkins by 1 frame to 0.
please, thank you.
He does, so the 2-times champion is off and running, and just quickly nipping to the other side of the curtain there, because Karen Wilson's back. He had the tip dressed rather than removed. He came into the practice room here, had a couple of shots just to make sure all was well, and it is. They're back out there, so we will return you with Karen in here to Peter Ebden and John Virgil.
Thank you, Hazel.
Black.
Yeah, well, he was in, and he's played a couple of good shots, but there's definitely a chunk out of the tip. It's not a tip that you'd want to carry on in the championship. The reason he played away there, he was
Karen Wilson, 9.
touching ball. But be very worrying moments for him, particularly after what happened last year. It's an hope.
Foul. The miss. Karen Wilson, 4.
I'd love to see him try and play that again and hit the yellow, John.
Yeah, well, you're going to get a chance, Peter. It's amazing, isn't it? All those reds and he didn't hit one of them.
All right, ladies and gents, if he hits the yellow again, the drinks are on JV.
That's amazing. That is amazing, and he won't be taking the miss this time because he's left him.
Karen Wilson, 4.
Left him with a chance, and I'm breathing a sigh of relief after your goal, Peter.
You had a bit of a twitch there when the cue
Put it
ball's
down,
heading
please.
towards the
Thank
yellow
you.
again, John.
Striking down. But controlled it nicely. Just under hit that slightly. It's quite understandable, to be honest with you, that
8.
with what happened to him last year when he damaged his tip, and that happening just when he was on the brink of, well, one frame away from winning, his mind must be in a little bit of a turmoil. Thinks this red will pass the blue. Well, it did, but just a little bit wide.
Karen Wilson, 8.
So didn't make the most of that opportunity. No, well, he's not having to work for his chances here, Kyron. I said earlier that Jamie had to play no miss snooker, and that's not been the case.
One.
So we took a shot of the tip earlier, and there you see the chunk that's out of it?
8.
I mean, it's only because this is the final session of this match, otherwise I think he may have, well, he'll certainly have it replaced for his next match.
9.
Should he go on to win it, which looks likely, but as I say, at the moment, there must be all kinds of thoughts swirling around in his head. Misjudged that one.
16.
You can still pop the one immediately above the black into the right corner, but it should have been easier than this. Oh, wow.
17.
I didn't think that was going to go in. So now 15 points to lead. So we're still going to need the 3 remaining reds to clinch, frame and match.
$21.
I know you know him pretty well, Peter, and you used to practice with him a lot. Is he someone that could get used to a new tip pretty quick?
I would be very surprised if he's not got tips that are already knocked in, John. I still practice with him on a regular basis. I just don't get many shots against him.
It's definitely affected him. There's no doubt about it. And if Jamie Jones could somehow win this frame, it's not going to get any easier for Kyron.
In a strange way, John, it might actually do Kyron a favour, because to be perfectly honest, he's not played great in this match. His cue ball's not been good. He's run out of position a lot. He's not scored as heavy as he normally would do. So maybe a new tip will help him. But obviously, he needs to win this match first. Oh, what a shot. That's fantastic. Well played, Jamie Jones.
Yeah, good pot. A lot will depend now, though, what angle he's got on the colour he chooses to drop on the awkward red. It's difficult to say whether he's got an angle where he could pot the brown and maybe move it. I don't think he can just roll the brown in and be on the red. And a quick glance at the scoreboard, decided to go for the 7 points. Can't get close to red off the black. Needs to run, otherwise he'll snooker himself. Well, would you believe it?
8.
You think of everything happening except that. What's the odds of that? When if he is snookered by the pink, it's an easy hit. He's just looking if he comes off the baulk cushion. Wants to catch this red as full as he can.
Well, if he does catch this correctly, John, there's an outside chance that he could leave a snooker back by leaving the cue ball behind the blue. It's a big ask, and I'm sure he'll just be absolutely delighted to see the red go safe, but he's playing the swerve now, so there's no chance of that happening.
Yeah, I'm surprised he's playing to hit it direct. I'm certain to get it safe that way. Well, it has gone safe, and so has the yellow, so there's a bit of snooker left in this frame. It's a good short little tap on the table there, so it must be a snooker. And it is. Risky. Sending the red towards the pocket, but once again, easy hit, but got to get it safe. Judged it well. Jamie's played that very well. But it's not really about this, who gets the red. It's that yellow that's going to be the problem for either player. Looks as though well, at least the potting angle has been covered by the pink. There you see it.
Yeah, it's just caught that a little bit thin. Almost certainly was trying to get the cue ball in behind the brown and green. Chance of potting this red. Now, having got the double kiss, he'll be delighted to see the red go safe. A couple of ways he can play this shot, Kyron. Can play the red behind the brown and green, which is probably the safest way to play it, possibly get the cue ball behind the pink, or send the cue ball there. He's decided to send the cue ball there. Little flick on the brown.
Hello, hello.
Oh.
Where's the cue ball gone?
Jamie Jones 4.
That was a TV programme, John, wasn't it?
It's amazing what strange things can happen. And Kyron Wilson, when he was in the last frame, was looking to make a century break. But now all of a sudden there could be a twist here that's happened and come from nowhere. Well, that was half a chance, but as I say, the big problem for both players will be the yellow.
Well, Kyron on the brink here, although it would be interesting to see if Jamie can sneak this one, and perhaps with the tip problems for Kyron, maybe a change in the narrative yet to come. But in any case, we're out of time on BBC Two. Williams 2-0 up, by the way, on Milkins. Coverage continues online and on the red button. Thereafter, Rob Walker's here, 12:25 tonight, with all the highlights. Meantime, from Steve and me and the rest of the team here in Sheffield, enjoy your Saturday night. Good night.